everyone, so I am back with another video. Thank you for clicking on my YouTube channel, or thank you for clicking on this video. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be I'm going to be telling you guys about my testimony. And this is my testimony coming back to Christ. I do have everything written down. I actually have it, and I had to send it to my daughter's phone just so I have it. So I do have everything. Matter of fact, let me get comfortable. Let me get my pillow, because this is, a very detailed video. So I do have everything in here about what I want to say. So I'm just going to get right into it. Number one is just basically, I've always grew up in the church. I can recall when I was little, going to church. I knew of church, but I never knew why I went to church. I actually remember getting baptized at a young age. I had to be maybe about 8, maybe between like 6 to 8. I remember getting baptized, but I didn't really understand the reason behind it. I just seen everybody getting into water, was like, cool, let me get dunked into some water. Excuse me. But I pretty much always had a relationship with God. I knew of him. So let me open my phone. So getting baptized at a young age. And another thing was that my brothers and my sisters, their nanny, their grandmom their great grandmom, she was a pastor for a long time. I remember going to her house at a young age and her brushing my hair and getting ready. And she was an old school pastor where we had to wear the slips under our dresses. Like, we had to wear slips. It was no come as you are. It was a specific type of way. And I also remember being the first one to church, being the first one to get to church and the last one to leave, because like my current service, our service maybe like an hour 30 minutes. I say about an hour 30, hour 45 max. But baby, that service was all day. We would have to get there like 9 o'clock, and we wasn't leaving till like 4 or 5 o'clock. Like, it was a whole shift, and that was not fun. Like, I remember dozing off to sleep. It was just very long. But I do have those core memories in my head when I was younger, and us getting up early for church and getting ready, getting our dresses on, getting our slips, and heading to church. And another thing that she used to do is, I don't know if you guys remember, if you have one close to you, or they pretty much non-existent nowadays, but every Sunday after church, we used to go to Old Country Buffet, baby, and we used to throw down every Sunday. We look forward to going to Old Country Buffet religiously. So all right, the next topic, the next one I had, young age, not really in the person. So pretty much I always went to church, but I never had a relationship with Christ. But I grew up in church. My mother wasn't, or isn't, I don't want to say isn't, I don't know. She wasn't growing up a religious person. We lived not a rough life, but we lived a not so good life. But it was never really forced, like, oh, it's Sunday, let's go to church, or before our meals. I mean, we would say grace, but it was just like, God is great, God, the traditional grace that you say before, but it was never really like nailed in our head, go to church, talk to God, stuff like that. But my next pointer I had was always felt different from my siblings / distance. And I don't know if this was like, in my younger years, as you guys can see from my get to know me videos, on my mom's side, I am the oldest of 6, or oldest of 7 if you count my little brother, but my mom didn't carry him. But the oldest of 6 growing up, and I've always felt distant. I always felt like I was different, not better, but different. I always felt like I was different. Like, of most of my siblings, like me being the first one, I was, of course, the first one to go to high school, the first one to graduate. Now, all my siblings graduated, but that's their story to tell, not mine. but I always felt different, you know? And I don't know if it was God like telling me like, you special, girl. Like, I'm thinking about that now, like God saying, girl, you special. But I always felt distant with my siblings. It was never like we were like having like several sibling rivalry or something like that, so to say. But I never was like close with my siblings. Like, we shared rooms, but I never felt close to them. Like, I didn't hate them. I loved them. But I don't know why I put that there. I guess I'll get to that later. Good, cause kid caused no trouble. Oh, I mean, I guess, you know, this, I'm still talking about my younger life. Like, I was a good kid. Like, my mom didn't have to tell me when I got home from school, you know, to do your homework, or ask you this, or ask you clean this, ask you do that. I did that by myself. Like, I was able to get up every morning, take myself to, get up, make myself breakfast, get myself dressed, go to school. Like, I always had good grades in school. So I was never a problem child. From middle school, elementary school, high school, I was always a good kid. And my mom can attest for that. I was a good kid. Up into high school, like, I had my few little hiccups when I start, start smelling myself, so to say. But for the most part, I was a good kid. I didn't get into trouble. Like, I was never that kid that went out and did stay out all night. And no, like, I was born and raised in Jersey. So, it's certain people you stay away from. And I just always had that sense in my heart. This isn't my, don't do that, Ashley. This isn't of you. This isn't where you're destined to be. I'm just going to talk about life after high school. I got held back in second grade. So I graduated a year after. I graduated in 2012. I was supposed to graduate in 2011. But I graduated, I went to community college. I got accepted to some colleges, but, I didn't have that family in my ear to tell me, go away to college, do this. So I was like, well, community college, everybody's saying it's cheap, you can stay home, blah, 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 blah. So that's what I did. But this is where I like, now at the age of 30, this is where I know I was lost. I would say I graduated at the age of 19, graduated high school. And mind you, before high school, I didn't smoke, I didn't drink, I wasn't even having sex. I wasn't doing any of this stuff in high school. Like, I wasn't doing none of this stuff. And when I tell you, it's like, once I graduated high school, side note, I moved in, like, me and my best friend and her sister, we all had a house. And at this time, I was working at Auntie Anne's, and I was lost. Now thinking about it, I was so lost. Like, I'm just going to get back into, like, the backstory. Like, I had a real bad drinking problem. Like, I drank so much. I started to get into drugs, like, marijuana. I didn't do anything other than that. But I started smoking. I started drinking. Like, I also went to school for medical assistance. So I went to that school, and every day not every day, but most of the times I was hungover. I remember it was the day after my 21st birthday, my best friends had gave me a surprise party at her house. So the day before my surprise party, I had got, like, when I tell you, it's just like, thinking about this, like, I'm so thankful that God delivered me from this, because I was so lost. Like, when I say I was drinking every day of the days. Like, I was working at that time. I was working at the mall. So I was working at Auntie Anne's. I would work, I would come home and I would drink and drink and drink. I'll pass out, be hungover, but get up for school, after school, go to work, come home, and do it every single day. And I was lost. Like, I was drinking. I around this time, I was blacked out. Like, there was times when I'm ashamed to say, but I would drive home drunk. Like, I was just going out and just doing whatever. And mind you, I wasn't doing this the months prior, or the months prior. Like, I graduated in June. I want to say about September is where all this stuff starting to happen. And I do want to say that year, yes, that year, I believe February or something around that year, early that year, my stepsister had went missing. So come to find out, she was found dead. So I don't want to say that's an excuse, but that was just like me being lost, me not having the support that I needed, and just trying to find a way to cope, all that into one. It just was like, just drink. Everybody be like, YOLO, you only live once, and you might as well go out and drink and have fun, and do you young, like, do it while you young, and do this. So that actually leads me to my other point. Hold on. And that was, I also dabbled in lesbianism. Yeah, so I did that for a while, and I'm sorry, just thinking about that, it's just like, bro, what was wrong? Like, I'm sorry to be looking away, but it's like, what was wrong? Like, I don't know. Not having that support. Like, my dad wasn't active in my life. Mind you, this time I wasn't going to church. Like, I was not going to church. It was just like, I'm making money, my bills are paid, I got some extra cash over. At this time, I don't think when I started drinking and stuff, I don't think I had my driver's license. No, I didn't have my driver's license. So my best friend and her sister did have that driver's license. And I'm like, the car's paid off, we got gas. And then at that point, I was still taking public transportation. I'm like, well, everything's paid for, so what else is there to do? You might as well, I'm sorry, bring y'all closer. You might as well just drink, drink, smoke. And it was so scary, y'all. Like, it's now there's times where, even till today, like, I don't remember nights. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, and I just thank God. God, thank you so much, Lord. Thank you so much for bringing me from that place, because now that I'm older and I realize, and now that I have a relationship with the Lord, there would have been times like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be here telling my story. And I just thank God so much that I'm here to show you guys that there is better. We all go through life. We're not exempt from hard times. We're not exempt from, stresses and stuff of that sort. So I just thank God that, excuse me. I just thank God that I was delivered from that. And I don't drink. Every now and then, if I wanted to go out, or I have some wine in the refrigerator, and I don't drink. I don't drink. So, I mean, if people like, and I even, some people like, just have a glass. I'd be like, okay, have a glass. But I don't want it. So I don't want to force something that I don't want. So I just don't drink. I don't know if it's something subconscious that's it's within me, that I have a fear of going back to that place, which I know for a fact. I know for a fact that God has delivered me from alcoholism, lesbianism, drugs, like all this stuff. He's also delivered me from, I was about to say that word. That is not the correct word. Profanity. So I don't even like the sound of cursing. Sorry for crying, but there was another time that God delivered me, and people, I feel like if someone see this, they won't believe me. I mean, not won't believe me, but they'll be like, wow, for real? But God delivered me from homelessness. I wasn't sleeping in my car or anything of that sort. But this is probably back in 2016. Mind you, I had my own apartment. And I had my first daughter. My daughter probably was like 1.5, close. Yeah, she's probably like 1.5. This probably was like 2016, close to 17. Probably like 2017. So she probably like 1.5, probably 2 at this point. I don't know. But I had my own apartment, you know, I had my own car, I had everything. And I'm thinking about it now. It's like so stupid. But I listened to my kid's dad, both of my kids' dad. I don't want to go too deep, and I don't want to put, no, I'm gonna just say it. I listened to him. He was like, all right, well, you can move in with me. Mind you, he's staying with his brother. So he's like, you can move in with me, and, we can save up some money, and then we can get our own place. I'm like, cool. At this time, I'm probably like 23. Yeah, I'm like 23. Young. So I'm like, oh, cool. Whatever. I'm cool. By this time, so moves in with him. Disaster. Like, disaster. So I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work out. Can't go back to my apartment because I broke my lease. At this point, I'm literally hopping from apartment to apartment. I'm moving with my cousin. I think I'm moving with my cousin first, or I don't know. I'm moving with my cousin first or my best friend. At this time, yes, my oldest daughter had turned 2 while we were in my best friend's house. So yes, so this happened in 2016. So yeah, hopped from that place, and I was just like, yo, Ashley, you can't do this no more. And at this time, y'all, I still wasn't going to church. I still didn't have a relationship with the Lord. I wasn't going to church. I was just like relying on my own will. But now I'm thinking about it, like, it wasn't my will, girl. It was not my will. It was God's will. It was God's will. So I was like, you know what? I gotta make something happen. So I'm calling apartments. Nowadays apartments, they want you to make this, and then have this credit score, this score. At that time, my credit score was trash. Especially because I broke my lease with my old apartment. But I did find a private landlord and moved into my apartment, my second apartment. It wasn't the best location, but it was mine, and it felt so good. And that's the apartment that I had right before I moved in this house. So yes, God has brought me from homelessness, and I vow to never, ever, 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 ever allow anybody to put me in that situation. I won't even allow myself to put me in that situation again, because at that time, granted, I do give it to myself, I was young, I didn't know. I was a first-time mom. I don't know. Granted, I was still taking care of my baby. Like, my baby didn't need for anything. She was never hungry. She was always washed. She had clothes. She was good. Like, I was good too. Like, we were good, but we were still living from house to house. So, that's not cool. Don't ever listen to a man. Like, don't never, ever, ever listen to a man, a boy, nobody to allow you to move out of your place, to move in with them. Never. And that's one thing I'm still into my kids' head. Don't ever do that. You will always have a place here. I have a 3-bedroom house, and y'all will forever have a place here, because I would never get to that point where I'm taking the trust of a man's word. The only man word that I'm taking is the Lord and Jesus Christ. They the only trust that I'm taking. All right, so after the homelessness, I moved into my apartment. And my best friend, that's a different story within that. But my best friend at the time, she started introducing me to churches. And I was like, cool, we can start going to church. This was definitely before COVID. So we were going to churches on and off. Mind you, I was still going out. I was still going to I want to say the clubs, because I wasn't the club, but it was like bars and stuff. I was still going to bars. I was still drinking it wasn't extensive to how I was drinking prior. At this time, I'm probably like 24 25 or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know the age or the time frame, y'all. But at this time, I started going to church, and I church hopped. I church hopped until I went to so many churches, y'all. And it was times where I sat there. I'm like, no. It was like, one of these churches was huge. Like, when I say this church was huge, like, they had, the county or the city, whoever it was, the police department, like, they had to direct traffic. Like, it was like, I think it was like it was a huge church. But I just felt like the word wasn't given. The word was not given. So I'm like, nope. This just don't feel like I'm just here because at that point I was just going to church to tell people I went to church, because it wasn't feeling like, this is my set place. And I went to a few churches on and off, and I dabbled, into churches at this time, still drinking, not drinking excessive, like I said, but I'm still going out to the bars every now and then. And mind you, I'm still dealing with, with premarital sex and all that good stuff. But I felt a pull. Like, I felt the pull, y'all. I felt the tug. Like, I felt the tug so bad. I was just ignoring it. I'm like, no. I'm like, the church isn't for me. So I didn't stop going. I still go. I still went. And then, I think was this when COVID hit? I don't know. Let me stop giving the time frames. I'm just going to go what happened. Let me see. Yeah, like I said, I continue to live my life. I'm living my life. I'm doing me. I'm saying I'm going to church on Sunday, working Monday to Friday, taking care of my kid. And that's that. Now, it was this one day in my apartment. When I was in 8th grade, we had this song by Yolanda Adams. It's called I Believe. I'm going to insert a short snippet of the song, but I need y'all to go listen to this album. The Yolanda Adams I Believe album. I was just in there cleaning my apartment. My daughter's with her dad. I'm like, let me just clean my apartment. Cleaning my apartment, put this song on. And I never listened to the whole album. I'm just listening. And this one song comes on. I forget the names of the song, but I'm going to insert the name of the song on the screen. And when I tell y'all, it brings tears to my eyes. When I tell you the presence of the Lord fell into my room, that encounter was the most peaceful, releasing encounter ever. Like, all I could do, y'all, like, my legs gave out. And I don't know this song. I don't know these songs playing. I'm just listening to the words, and and I just dropped to my knees, y'all. For a good 30 minutes, I just cried and praised the Lord. I just cried and worshiped and praised him, and I just praised him, y'all. And the feeling, I just pray that people encounter that feeling, because the feeling of the presence of the Lord is not like no other, y'all. I'm telling y'all. And then I just worshiped him. And then once I got done, it was like, after I cried, of course I cried during that. And it's just like, when I got up, first I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't say what. I was thinking, I'm like, yo, what was that? Like, and as the time went on, like the hours and the days went on, I'm like, yo, that was the Lord. And after that encounter, my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friend and coworker invited me to her church. This is some time afterwards, because I'm still searching for churches. And she invites me to this church, which I go now, Victory in Christ Christian Center. I love my church. Like, I'm gonna link my church down below. If I know how to link my church, I'm gonna link it down below, because we do online as well. So my church is just phenomenal. Like, when you find your set place in your church, I said, I'm home. I'm home. Granted, you don't just rely on the pastors to preach the word. You have to read the word for yourself. But having that set place, mind you, around this time, when I first went to this church, I was about probably like 8 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, close to 9 months pregnant. So I went to the church. I loved it. Like, I loved it. This is right after we started opening up again, because it was after COVID. And I loved it. I'm like, yo, that church is the bomb. Like, it's the bomb. So afterwards, I ended up having my baby. I stopped going for a while. But I had my baby March of 21. But I always went back to, I always like thought about it. So I would watch it online. Just grab my encounter, my apartment, co-worker, around the church, for at home. Okay, so yeah, I started going to the church, gave my life to Christ, dedicated my life to Christ, became part of the church. And the rest is, I'm still there. I fell off a little bit, but I'm getting back to it. And then last year, your girl, after, dedicating my life to Christ and joining the church and taking ministry classes, I took my first Woman of Victory ministry class last year. Today, I wish I had my stole is over there in the closet. Last year I took my first class. I'm actually currently doing my second class, and these classes are phenomenal, y'all. It's like God knew. He knew what I needed in my life, and oh my gosh, I just my God is so good. My God is so good. My God is so good. But last year, I got baptized. I got baptized. I was like, I'm ready. When they told me baptism is, up and running since COVID, I was like, sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up. So your girl got baptized last year. Of course, I still, getting baptized doesn't mean everything instantly washed away. So I still have my struggles that I struggle with now. But, let's see. I guess the last point is basically me saying that I'm still currently on my walk with Christ. Every day is, every day has its own battles and own challenges. We live in this world, and even though we live in this world, we're not of this world. Doesn't mean that difficulties and challenges won't come my way. And I'm definitely learning. I'm at a phase in my life right now where if it ain't of God, I don't want it. I lost friends, and it's crazy. That's another thing I want to point on. This one prayer, I'm telling y'all, if y'all pray this prayer, be careful, because it's a prayer. This was, I think it was right after I got baptized, or I'm not sure the time frame, but I remember praying this prayer to God. I was like, God, I had went on a fast right before. I went on a fast for 30 days or 60 days before buying my house. I went on a fast. I wasn't dating nobody. I wasn't intimate with no one. I wasn't drinking. I've been stopped smoking. I've been haven't smoked in about 7 years. So, but I went on a fast, and I prayed to God. I was like, God, I ask that you remove everyone in my life that isn't meant to come to the next season. Y'all, when I tell you, I wasn't thinking the people, that prayer, and I kept praying. When I say I prayed this prayer over and over and over and over again, I typed it in my notes. I read it as I prayed it as I walked. I slept on this prayer. I woke up thinking about this prayer, because at this time, I wanted this people that's supposed to be in my life now to be in my life. If they weren't meant to come to this season, but the person that I thought, y'all, I lost my best friend. Mind you, we have been, I love her, don't get me wrong, I love her to death. and I wish her nothing but the best. I love her. She was to call me and say, hey girl, I need your help. But she was not the person that I thought I would lose. In the way that we drifted, I would have never thought we would have drifted that way. So when you saying that prayer, be careful, because I wasn't thinking, I don't know who I was thinking about, honestly. I wasn't thinking about her. I don't know who I was thinking about, but it doesn't matter, because when you pray that prayer right there, I'm telling you, it's, praying to God. I'm still working on my prayer life, but praying to God, and he hears. He trusts and believes. He know what you need before you even think about what you need. So me praying that prayer and purchasing my house, and there was some hiccups with my house, but I never stressed about it. I never worried about it. Even if something came, God got me. God got me. But I don't want to make this video too long. I just want to let everyone out there know, whoever is viewing this video, whenever you're viewing this video, just know, if you're on your walk with Christ, every day is a step in the right direction. You may feel like you're not getting where you're supposed to be, but God knows exactly where you're supposed to be, because God, he has brought me through homelessness, premarital sex. He has brought me through profanity, alcoholism, drug abuse, lesbianism. God has brought me through so much, and he's still bringing me through it, baby. He is still bringing me through it. So if there's anyone out there that's struggling, just know that it's normal. We all going through it, and you will get through it. I just want everyone to have a blessed day, a blessed night, a blessed life, and just know that God got you. Good night or good day. God got you. Have a good day. I love you.